I'd like to welcome Minister Cannon to the House. Third motion, Senator Moran.
Thank you, Ciaran. Just before I start, I'd just like to express my sympathy on the death of former Senator Jimmy Mulroy, Fianna Fáil Senator, from 1987 to 1989, who sadly passed away this afternoon. And as a colleague in County Louth, I'd like to express my sympathy. I would like to welcome Minister Cannon here this evening. And Minister, I'd like to raise the matter of a primary school in Dundalk who first applied for an extension 20 years ago. Finally, in 2009, they were added to the department's list for an extension, and they have already completed stage 1 of the plans for the extension to the department's satisfaction. Minister, the school personnel, Board of Management, Parents Council, teachers and pupils have reported their dismay to me when they were advised earlier in the year that, by letter, that they had not been included on the 5-year plan for school extensions and have no guarantee of completing the project. Minister, I have many years in experience in teaching. I've taught in old schools, I've taught in new schools, I've taught in several schools that were over hundreds of years old, and I can assure you that in my experience the environment in which a child is taught is vital to the learning experience of the child. The school building and the school to which I refer is several hundred years old. While the principal and the staff are doing their utmost to brighten up the classrooms and do the best they can, I know from visiting the school that their job is made much more difficult because of the current state of the building and their limited space. I find it extremely difficult to comprehend that in 2013, a school which has no staff room, no computer room, no staff toilet, no resource room, can justifiably be excluded from the department's list, and that they have no guarantee when they will get the extension that they so badly need. I think, Minister, it has to be recognised that all schools now vie for students, and every school has an open day in which they try to attract schools in. Okay, and the numbers that they get will depend on the number of teachers that they get. And I think it really is, it's detrimental to them in their bid to try and get pupils into the school if they are not working on the same playing field as other schools who have been granted extensions, who, you know, and who have got the resources that they need. This school has 2 classrooms and 3 prefabs, which has greatly reduced their play area. Despite this, there is another building on the site, again, which is hundreds of years old and which has now gone into total disrepair. It's now dilapidated. And in my opinion, this would have been much better put to use that building rather than the astronomical cost of putting in prefabs. Instead. Now, I can fully appreciate that that was not done by the present government and that the prefabs have been in situ for years. But I just think that, you know, when we look back, and I know that Minister Quinn has done a great job on ensuring that prefabs are being replaced. On my last visit to the school, I had to conduct my meeting with the principal in the schoolyard, and I, as a teacher myself, I just find this is absolutely unbelievable. As I said, I had to meet her in the schoolyard as all the classroom space was occupied. And when it began to rain, we had to take the meeting to her car to conclude the meeting. I mean, this, if you read about this in the 40s and 50s, you know, you'd wonder at what was going on. I was dismayed to hear then from the principal that this is what happens when she needs to conduct a meeting and resource teaching is going on at the same time because they don't have a resource room. And again, I can only commend the principal and the staff who do an exceptional job with the limited resources that they have. This school also, Minister, I feel is significant because it caters for a diversity of religions. And again, I must say this as a parent as well, I feel that parents and pupils deserve the right to send their school to the child, to a school which they feel caters for their religious preference. And I would be concerned that the lack of facilities available at the moment in this school could deter parents from sending their children here. I would ask that you convey my concerns to Minister Quinn. I would also ask that Minister Quinn would come to Dundalk to visit this school and reassess the decision in order to give all children of all religions equal facilities and equal access to education. Thank you.
And I'm taking this adjournment on behalf of my colleague Rory Quinn, TD, the Minister for Education and Skills. And I want to thank the Senator for raising the matter of the building project for Dun Dealgan National School in Dundalk, County Louth, as it provides me with the opportunity to outline to the Senate the Government's strategy for capital investment in education projects over the next 5 years, and perhaps to clarify the current position in relation to this project. I want to first set out the context within which these decisions have been taken and relating to meeting the accommodation needs of schools that have to be considered over the coming years. Overall enrolment figures are expected to grow by about 70,000 students between 2012 and 2018, by over 25,000 at post-primary level and 45,000 at primary level. Indeed, post-primary level enrolment is set to continue to rise until at least 2024. And in order to meet the needs of our growing population of school-going children, the Department must establish new schools, as well as extending or replacing a number of existing schools in areas where demographic growth has been identified. And the delivery of these new schools, together with extension projects to meet future demand, will be the main focus of the Department's capital budget over the coming years. The 5-year programme, which was announced in March of last year, will provide over 100,000 permanent school places, of which over 80,000 will be new school places. The remainder will involve the replacement of temporary or unsatisfactory accommodation. The project for Dun Dealgan National School entails the construction of an extension to the existing school of approximately 495 square metres, plus associated refurbishment and site works. The school is a 4-teacher school, which has seen enrolments remain relatively consistent over recent years, with 87 pupils enrolled in the 2000-2001 year and 96 pupils in the current school year. The school has also received sanctions amounting to €175,000 under various summer works grants over that period. The project is currently at an early stage of architectural planning. The project design team was appointed in early 2012, and the Board of Management was authorised to commence architectural planning. The Stage 1 report, which is the initial sketch design stage, was completed and reviewed late last year, and the project was authorised to complete Stage 2A, the developed sketch design. In the approval letter, which issued on the 1st of October last year, the Board of Management was informed that as this project is not on the 5-year construction programme, the Department would advise the Board of Management against entering into any arrangements which are time-bound until authorisation is given to proceed to tender following completion of the Stage 2B report. My Department is currently awaiting submission of the Stage 2A report from the Board of Management and their design team. Due to competing demands on my Department's capital budget imposed by the need to prioritise the limited funding available for the provision of additional school accommodation to meet increasing demographic requirements, it was not possible to include this project in the 5-year construction programme announced earlier this year. Schools which have not been included in the 5-year programme, but which had previously been announced for initial inclusion in the building programme, will continue to be progressed to final planning stages in anticipation of the possibility of further funds being available to my Department in future years. The project for Dun Dealgan National School remains available to be considered for progression in that context. I want to thank the Senator for allowing me the opportunity to outline the position, and also to say to the Senator that I will certainly pass on our concerns directly to Minister Quinn.
Brief question, Senator.
Thank you. I appreciate what you've given me. I mean, there's no new information there, really, Minister, you know, to what I already knew and what I'd found out. I mean, I think the argument still has to stand there that, you know, as you've said, that the enrolment has remained static. The enrolment has remained static principally because they can't take any more students into it. They can't cater for any more students because the buildings are, you know, they're bursting at the seam. So again, I think to give the children, as I said, from my experience going into other schools and even going around to other schools in Dundalk who deservedly have got their projects as well, this school, I feel, has been seriously curtailed. It is, as I said, it is a minority religion school. It is a school that has been there and is a proud tradition in Dundalk, and I just feel that the Minister, I would ask again that he would come down and reassess his decision not to include it in the 5-year plan, because I really think there is a case to include it there.
Ciaran.
Okay, well, I would suggest to the Senator that she would perhaps extend an invitation to the Minister in writing to make that visit. But again, to stress that I do not want to give a sense that somehow the pause button has been pressed on development in Dun Dealgan and other schools, because there are a number of other schools across the country in similarly difficult circumstances, that the process whereby they reach the point where they're ready to go to construction will continue. It is not being set aside because of the 5-year programme and the demands that are being placed on the resources of the department in completing that 5-year programme. These other schools, which are outside that programme for the moment, will be progressed to the point where they are ready to go to construction, on the basis that we will perhaps be able to look at another iteration of the programme in years to come, or in other circumstances, other funds may arise that we're not aware of now to allow us to begin that development. So to assure the school that they will be continued along that process, that parallel process, to bring them to the point where they're ready to go to construction. But at this point in time, as I've said in my reply, the pressure that's on the building unit in our department is to deliver on that 5-year programme to meet that huge demographic challenge of 75,000 new children in the system over the next 4 to 5 years. That's what they must respond to at this point in time, and I'm hopeful that we'll get around to schools such as Dun Dealgan and other schools around the country which are in a similar situation as soon as possible.
Thank you, Minister.